Happy Wednesday, crafty friends. Well, today we have a card class. It's card class day, and it's What You Making Wednesday, right? So time for a card class. Well, today I'm going to be using the Winterly Treetops bundle, which has the beautiful stamp set, and the bundle has the coordinating dies. I'll also be using this big circle from our deckled circle dies. These are one of my favorite basic shape dies because they're so beautiful and you get so many of them. So this Winterly Treetops is one of my favorite winter sets. You could use it for, of course, Christmas. You could use it for winter cards. You could use it for thank you cards. I love the sentiments. We're actually gonna make a winter thank you card today. And if you are part of my card club, my monthly card club subscription, this month I am featuring the Winterly Treetops bundle. So we will be making 8 cards for different designs using this Winterly Treetops bundle. So there's still time to subscribe to that if you haven't yet already. You can get this into this card class if you subscribe by November 15th, and then the card club kits, that's a lot of C's, the card club kits will ship by the 28th of the month. You'll get the tutorials for all of them. You get $25+ of consumable products, plus you get all of the cut, prepped pieces and the tutorials to make all of the 8 cards in the club kit. If it's your first time joining a club, you get a special extra prize in your first club month. And then every 6 months that you're a part of club, you get a bonus gift every 6 months that you are consecutively subscribed to my Club Create. So that's my little plug for that. All right, and as always, all the measurements for today's projects and the supply list, the step-by-step instructions, all of that are in a free printable PDF. You can find that on my blog at stampinqueenbee.com, or you can subscribe to my weekly Buzz Bulletin, and I email that out every Thursday for all of my Buzz Bulletin subscribers. All right, I think that's all the announcements for today. So let's get started. Let me show you today's card. It's this beautiful Winterly Treetops card. And I want to point out that, you know, sometimes we think we need a sentiment on the front of our card, but often the images are so beautiful that we can have them do all the talking for us, right? And then I put my sentiment on the inside of this one, sending thanks and much love. So all those Christmas gifts you're getting this year, these would make great thank you cards for those, or just anytime thank you cards. And it doesn't even have to be Christmas. You could send these into the winter, right? In the January and so on months of winter. So let's get started. I've got my parts and pieces here. So first, I already cut our card base. So this is a half sheet of 8.5 by 11. I just cut it at 4 1/4 and I scored at 5 1/2, and that gives you the opening to open the tall way. So that is what we're going to be using today. The paper that we're going to use here, I'm going to cut us a piece. This is from the Nests of Winter, which go with our Winterly Treetops. So we're going to feature this a lot in club this month because I really love this paper. So let me grab my paper trimmer here. And usually I have all the card papers and stuff cut, but sometimes I like to cut them for you so you can see just how beautiful they are. So here's the paper. There are so many great designs on here. I love that there's basic beige in this and white. It's very, very pretty winter, winter scenes. We've got the beautiful birds, all kinds of fun. We're gonna talk about those birds in a second, but let me grab, okay, so this piece here, I love to keep my scraps, as you saw in last Friday's Functional Friday video. but I love to keep all of my scraps and parts and pieces together. I have seen some crafters who have a separate like bin or bucket or box for all their scraps, and I just can't imagine going through that. I don't think I ever would. I'd always grab a new sheet. So I love these paper sleeves, and I just keep all of my scraps with designer paper. That's how I do my cardstock as well. These pockets are from Stampin storage, but I love those. So this is the beautiful pool party paper that we're going to use. So the back of that is these pretty birds. These you can fussy cut out, and I will show you that in a bit, but we're going to cut this. So this is going to be just our standard layer, which is 4 by 5 1/4. There we go. And then I will put my paper trimmer away. And this is what I do. So I just grab my scraps and then I set them right inside my paper pocket here. If I can get it open, there we go. And then they're ready to go. So then when I grab these, I always look first for my scraps that are usually at the top. Sometimes they get mixed in between, but almost always they're at the top, and then they're easy for me to grab. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Ty. Okay, another couple things I wanted to point out on this beautiful paper is that the dies, you can stamp them, of course, but the dies for these, I keep them on these magnet sheets that are also from Stampin' Storage. But these dies cut out, so this one will cut out, let me get it right, we'll cut out this stamped image, but it also cuts out the paper, which is really fun. So let me grab this piece. And I left my scraps because I wanted to show you a couple of things with this. So here's this paper here. And so this die will cut out the double birds. I love these birds with the pool party and the crushed curry. I think that is a beautiful combination. So I love that there's the stamp too that's the same, because I always love the paper and sometimes we don't have the exact stamp, right? But now I can use these as almost a guide if I want to color my own the same way. So that is a good little tip too. There's also this other die, this other single bird die. So this paper, we actually can cut out all of the birds with our dies. I love when they do that. So then that is what this piece, this is the negative of that. So once we cut out all of those, and then all of these little holly berries, you can fussy cut those out. So there really is no waste to this sheet of paper. I do love the back side. The back side's pool party as well. So whenever you love the front and back, here's the solution. You just get 2 packs, and then you can use one side of one pack and one side of the other, and then you never have to choose, right? So, all right, that's what I wanted to point out on all of those. We're actually going to use this bird here for today's card, and so I just die cut them ahead of time for us, so you didn't have to watch me do that, but it's this bird here in this paper. So I love when the dies match the paper and also the stamps. So now it gives me the option, right? And the paper is always colored beautifully by our Stampin' Up! Artists. So it's great that it gives us a little bit of a guide, a cheat sheet as to how to recreate that. And on the back of all of our papers, there is this sheet, and it always lists all of the colors for the papers, which I like. So if I know, okay, I love these, I can go see which red they used and that was pool party and which yellow they used. And then I'm able to recreate that with the stamps. So lots and lots of design ideas with that paper. I can hardly wait for my club members to see this month's cards because they are really fun. There's a couple fun folds and all kinds of things. So let's bring in my parts and pieces again for today's card. All right, that is what we will need. So first, let's grab some liquid glue. And so we're just gonna adhere this piece that we cut. I love this pool party piece. Good morning, Avril. With all of the little bubbles. I mean, they look like snow. They could look like bubbles. I saw someone did like a beachy scene with them that made them look like, you know, ocean bubbles. So many options. There we go. So we've got that connected. Easy peasy so far. Now let's do some stamping. So I've already pre-cut this deckled circle. This is from the deckled circle dies, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 from the smallest. So it's this one here. And so it's a great big die. I love that because it's gonna take up a good amount on our card here, but it also fits beautifully this stamp. So this stamp here is like a little holly bundle, and we're gonna stamp it twice. So we're gonna create our own little wreath using this stamp. So I'm gonna ink this up with our Memento black ink. And these bigger stamps like this, I like to ink them upside down, especially when they have detail. It's a red rubber stamp. So anytime there's a red rubber stamp, it indicates really that it's got lots and lots of detail in it. That, you know, I love our clear stamps, but our photopolymer don't get as detailed as our red rubber stamps, right? So this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful way to show a lot of detail. So we're gonna stamp this. We're just gonna kind of center that, stamp that down. There we go. And we're gonna do it again on the other side. So we'll just ink this up. We're gonna do some coloring today with some blends, some really easy coloring, and then I've got a blend coloring extra tip for you that really makes your blend coloring pop. So stay tuned. All right, so now we're gonna stamp this down and we're just gonna line that up. It doesn't have to be exact because we're gonna color this. Stamp that down. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit for a second and before we get to coloring. And let me put my lid back on my stamp pad, because sometimes I stick my hand in it, right? Even though I just did that, and we're gonna stamp again. So we've got our sentiment here, sending thanks and much love. And so we've got our black ink again. And so here is a sentiment tip for you. So sometimes I have trouble lining it up so that it is straight, like if we were gonna put this on straight. So my little solution to that many times, and for some reason this stamp is that way for me, is to just stamp it at a diagonal, because then it doesn't have to look lined up, right? So we're just gonna stamp this in the corner there. You could do this in the top corner, bottom corner, anywhere, but if you have trouble getting your sentiments straight, that is a good tip to just kind of offset them so that it doesn't really matter, right? Okay, so let's bring in a little scratch paper here so that we can do a little bit of speckling. So I'm going to bring in my red Stampin' blend. This is the dark one. And I'm just going to lightly do some speckling along the bottom there, just to give our sentiment and message sheet a little bit of extra. So we'll go ahead and glue this in. Today's card is a quick and easy card, but I love quick and easy cards that are also wowy, and I think the coloring that we're going to do here in a minute really makes this card stand out. All right, so I'm just adhering that with some liquid adhesive just right into the center of our card there. All right, now let's do some coloring. So I've got my Stampin' blends here, and I've got Granny Apple Green, I've got Real Red, I've got Lemon Lime Twist, and Pool Party. So let's get started with this. I'm gonna grab, let's see, Lemon Lime Twist, the light, and I'm gonna use, because this is very detailed image, I'm gonna use the bullet end, and I'm just gonna lightly, like I'm very loosely coloring this, in these leaf areas. So it doesn't have to be a complete color. Very loose is the goal, meaning I'm not gonna like outline each one and take 5 minutes on each leaf. We're just kind of giving it, we're just laying down a bit of color into the leaves that are in our little wreath that we put together. So putting together 2 of those kind of circular sprigs can create our own little wreath without having a big wreath stamp. So I'm just loosely adding a bit of quick color into our leaves. So this is the light lemon lime twist. I think I got them all. Okay, so now we're gonna take our granny apple green, the dark granny apple green, the same bullet end since this is so detailed, and on these bigger leaves that have kind of the vein detail, we're just adding a tiny bit of this dark granny apple green very loosely, just like before, just in the middle to give them a bit of depth. All right. Now I'm going to take my light granny apple green. This time I'm going to use the brush end, and right over those leaves I just did, I'm just going to kind of blend all 3 of those green colors together. And today I just heard on the radio that it was World Kindness Day. So what a great way to show the world some kindness by sending out some Happy Mail, right? Some handmade Happy Mail to brighten someone's day. Okay, I'm just going through making sure I got all of those little areas. All right, now we're gonna bring in our real red, and I'm gonna grab the dark real red, and the bullet end again is what I'm going to use. So there is like a tiny, let's see if I can zoom up here so you can see, there's like a tiny detail area of all of the little berries. So I am just taking the dark real red and dotting, not even really coloring, just dotting that little detail area on all these berries. Okay, then I'll take the light real red with the same bullet end and kind of fill in and blend together the rest of the berries. So using the 2 colors like that, it just gives it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of depth to the image, right? Love our alcohol blends. They are one of my favorite tools. Yes, you need all the colors. I mean, of course not to start, but I really do use all the colors. Some, of course, more often than others. Make sure I got all those. Okay. So I think that looks pretty good. So let me get close so you can really see that. Hey, Kathy. All right, so now we've got that colored, and it looks fabulous as is, but I want you to see the difference in my finished one. Of course, it's got the cute bird, which we'll add in a minute, but in the detail of this outline, we're gonna take our light pool party. So I'm gonna use the brush end, and this is a good tip on any images you're coloring. If you outline with the light pool party, doesn't even have to be exact, it can just be real loose. Like I'm just going real kind of quick throughout, just kind of going all loosely around the outline of this. It gives it like a shadow, and it almost then gives it a watercolored effect. Let me just do the rest of this side, and then you can see the difference in one side versus the other. So it will lighten up a bit as it dries, but isn't that just beautiful to give it that outline? It's almost like a shadow, a really light shadow, because of the pool party light is so light, and it just gives it kind of that watercolor feel, softens the whole image, and really makes it look very artsy without needing to be very artsy, because it just, like, I'm just going really quick throughout this. Doesn't need to be hyper detailed, it just needs to kind of go around that. Okay, so that is our quick coloring. So loose coloring can be so beautiful. All right, now I'm gonna bring in my Wink Estella, which is our glitter brush pen. It's already got some coming out. And so instead of coloring like certain areas with this brush pen like we often do, for this one, I'm gonna actually just push. So I'm just pushing down kind of all over my image here, because I also want this to be very loose. And so this is just gonna add some sparkle. I'm not sure if the camera will pick that up, but it just adds a bit of sparkle and dimension kind of all over our image here. So who doesn't love a bit of sparkle all over, right? All right, so I'm gonna set this aside and let that dry. And I'm gonna bring in our birds here. So, where's my stamps? There they are. So in my stamp cases, I keep a clear envelope. This was also a tip that I shared on one of our Functional Fridays. And I love to share those quick organizational tips. But I keep these with my stamp set, with every stamp set. And that way I can have different parts and pieces. So you can see I have die cut out from our paper like I showed you. So I have those in here. I've got some stamped things that I've cut out. So with this paper, you can fussy cut these ones. And then with our dies, you can die cut out of that paper. And if there ever is a little birdie that's just like in half from the paper, I still die cut those, because you could use this like on an end piece. That would be beautiful. You could also cut out that extra bit and just have the single bird by his or herself, right? And then those little berries that I shared with you, I fussy cut those out of the paper and saved all those. So now I have all of these ready for a future project, and I don't have to do that. So sometimes I'll die cut, you know, if I don't know what I want to make. Sometimes I will die cut a bunch of pieces, just sit and die cut some paper and put it in here. I always love to stamp a bunch of images when I first get a stamp set. And so then sometimes I'll fussy cut or die cut those out, and then I just put them in there and save them in my stamp case just like so. And that way I can have those pieces ready to go when I want to create. Speaking of my stamp cases here, just thought of something, but I like, so whenever I have a red rubber stamp set, you have all your pieces here and you put your labels on. I do put my labels on all of mine, but I also love to keep this negative red rubber piece, this piece here, inside all of my stamp cases, because then you can very easily see if you're missing a stamp. So when I'm done today, I will clean my stamps and I will put them right back in their spots, and I will know, okay, they're all in there when this is filled. So I love to keep that negative red rubber space, because it really is a good visual to what stamps may be missing, right? All right, now let's put all of our fun together here. So I'm gonna bring in my scratch paper, just in case this is wet. I'm going to turn over my little wreath that we created. And I'm going to add a bit of liquid adhesive. And we're going to center this right on front of our card here. I think my Wink of Stella is a bit wet still, so you may let yours dry an extra minute or two. Then we're going to take our cute bird here and we're going to center that in the middle. And you know, you could even use the other bird. So let me pull the other bird out from that same paper. The bigger double birds would look beautiful also against this because you have the pool party, right? So you could use either one interchangeably, or you could stamp your own and color it with pool party. Lots of options. So for this bird, we are going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this bird up. We're going to peel the backs off of here, and this is going to sit right in the center of our wreath here. Perfect. So we've got bling, we've got our inside done, we've got coloring. Now we need a little bit of embellishments. So for today's, we're using the Glossy Dot assortment. So it comes with the Gorgeous Grape and the Melon Mambo, the Daffodil Delight, and Pool Party, which I love. So we're just going to grab some of these, and I put a big one up in the corner, and then we're going to do two of the smaller ones on the bottom corner. And these are real flat, so you know, you could even add on the inside. I didn't do this on my other one, but let's do it on this one. We could add on the inside a couple of them as well, just to give it a little extra, right? And because they're kind of flat, they don't raise the inside of your card dimension. So that is today's card with our beautiful winterly treetops. If you don't want to miss out on more ideas for this, there's still time to join my monthly card club subscription and get all kinds of great ideas. I'm so excited to feature this winterly treetops bundle. Remember, if you subscribe by the 15th, you will get this month's kit. And if you subscribe after that, you will get the following month's kit. My club members always get extra. They're part of a fun Facebook group. They get extra emails with different fun ideas. And of course, I always love to spoil my club members. All right, well, thanks so much for watching today. The step-by-step instructions with the free printable PDF tutorial will be up tomorrow, as well as the email that goes out if you're part of my Buzz Bulletin. I will see you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing me with your friends. Bye for now.